Today, on this online class, we're going to be talking about the 2020 email marketing statistics you need to know. This is an important topic. People ask me about this topic all the time. So I'm really excited to cover it with you today. A few housekeeping notes before we jump in. Number one, this is going to be a 1-hour class or less. I will stay longer for Q&A if needed, if there are questions. I'll stay longer. I'll leave some time for Q&A at the end. So if you have to leave right at 3 p.m. East Coast time or right at the top of the hour, there will be some time for some questions before you leave, but I will stay longer if people have additional questions. I will also email you a replay of this. So everyone is going to get an email with the replay. If by some chance you do not get that email, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is lizw@aweber.com. So you can find me there. Please do take the survey at the end. It's in your class resources as well. Those surveys are very super helpful to me because they let me know what's going well, what else you would like to learn, how these classes are for you, and then I can go back and tell my team, hey, let's just keep doing more of these because they're helpful, or here's how we can make them better. Additionally, throughout this, consider what questions do you have, because we will be taking Q&A, and feel free to type those right in the chat. Use the class resources page. You should see a button right now that says view class resources. And in that page, you can check out all the different resources I'm going to talk about during this class. And you can also get the link to the survey. So the other thing is, this class in particular is going to be pretty interactive. That's the goal. So I'm going to ask you to interact in the chat window. So share your answers and ideas in chat. One of the cool things about a webinar with a public chat like this is we can all learn from each other too. And we can all support each other, which is a great thing to do right now because many people are at home quite a bit, or maybe they're in the office, and but everyone always needs more ideas and community. So it's helpful to have that community. And also feel free to share, tweet, and engage online. So if you've ever been to a conference and you've tweeted out something you're learning, feel free to do that here. I have the AWeber hashtag in the bottom left hand of every slide. So if you use Twitter and you get an insight from this class that you want to share with your audience, feel free to do that. That's totally fine. We welcome it. I would love that. You can find me on Twitter at Liz Willits. So today we're going to be talking about what are the latest email marketing trends. So if you've ever wondered that, this is the place to be. We're going to be talking about how other businesses, how are other businesses running their email marketing strategies. So if you feel like you're working in a silo and you need insight from what other companies are doing with their email marketing, then this is perfect. And then it's also going to answer the question, how is my email marketing strategy performing? How are the decisions I'm making within my strategy impacting my results? But before we jump in, I want to engage you all with a poll and ask you, and you can drop your answer right into the chat window, but where would you like to improve your email marketing strategy? Drop that answer right into the chat window. It could be anything that you want to improve about your email marketing strategy. Anywhere you think, hey, this is our weakness and I want to get better at this. Then just drop that in the chat and let me know. And as you're doing that, I'm going to quickly introduce myself in case you are new to these webinars or to these live classes. My name is Liz, and I'm the Senior Content Marketing Specialist at AWeber. I'm a keynote speaker. I do a lot of these classes. I've worked with thousands of small businesses, entrepreneurs, and all kinds of businesses across the country, across the world, to help them optimize their email marketing strategies. I'm an email nerd. I've sent millions of emails, and I live and breathe this stuff, and I would love to connect with you. So if you want to connect on social media, you can find me at Liz Willits on Twitter and under Liz Willits on LinkedIn. And everyone is dropping comments in the chat, which is awesome. We have building a list from Cliff. Brunel says that does not have an email marketing platform yet. Phil says engagement. Donna says everything. Growing subscribers is a big theme. list building, open rates, email engagement, building my list and converting to sales, better sign-up forms and better targeting, segmentation, open rates, getting subscribers. This is great. Thanks, everyone. Tags and triggering campaigns. And John says everything. Maria says how to reduce spam. Having promo email copies so I can easily run a promo sales campaign, says Anathea. Sales from my list, building list. This is great. And as you may see, there are a lot of other people out there who have similar goals as you and similar areas that they want to improve. So this is a great place to be. We're going to talk through many of those things. Keep dropping in your answers and I'll keep going. So let's first off talk about email marketing usage and effectiveness. So how many people are using email and how effective is it for them? And what are their results looking like? So first off, how important is email marketing to your business strategy? This is a question. And by the way, I'm using AWeber's new 2020 Small Business Email Marketing Statistics Report, which we just published this, and it's statistics that we gathered from over 1,000 small businesses who told us how their email marketing is performing. If you're here, you may have even participated in the survey. But we asked these businesses, how important is email marketing to your business strategy? And if you and yourself can drop in the chat and let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is email marketing to your business strategy? 10 is super important and 1 is not important at all. So drop in the chat and let me know. And it's okay if you're like, I know I just told you I'm an email marketing nerd. So don't feel guilty saying 1. I won't judge you at all. A lot of people are saying 10. That's of course ideal, but again, don't feel bad saying lower. Dave says 4. That's great, Dave. So we found through this report that 79% of small businesses said email marketing is important or very important to their business strategy. So it's really important to a lot of people. The individual breakdown was around 32% said important, 48% said very important, 0.3% said unimportant, 14% said unimportant, 0.3 said very unimportant. Did I have that right? Yes. Or unimportant, and then 14% said very unimportant, and 6.7% said neutral, so they weren't really sure. So that's how other businesses are feeling. Most of them feel it's important, very important, but there is that 14% of people who feel it's very unimportant to them, and maybe it's because email marketing isn't driving results for their business yet. So classes like this, the goal is to help make email marketing more important to your business strategy. And if it's already important, make it even more effective. So then we ask people, okay, so email marketing, is it important? But then how effective is your email marketing strategy? And so if you could let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being super effective and 1 being not effective at all, how effective your email marketing strategy is. And we got 3, 6, 3, 1, 5, 3. So different answers here. Most people believe it's very important. Yet it seems like the trend here is, although everyone believes it's very important, we all think that there are opportunities for us to do even better. So we found that 14.5% of people said their strategy was very effective. 45.6 said effective. 19.9 said ineffective. 5.7 said very ineffective, and 14% of people were not sure. They're not sure how effective their email marketing strategy is. Maureen says, how do you define effective? I define effective by helping you reach your business goals. So is email helping you reach your business goals? And if it is, it's doing a great job of doing that, and that's a 10. And if it's not helping you reach your business goals, then that would be a 1. But as a part of our report, we actually asked people too. We talked to a couple email experts, around 10 email experts, and we asked them to comment and share their insights after reading the report. And one of the people we talked to was John Jantz. And John Jantz is the founder of Duct Tape Marketing. He's like one of the founders of modern marketing, and very inspiring and helped develop many of the concepts we use as marketers today. And he loves email. And here's what he said about it. He said, for email to be effective today, it must be personal, targeted, and crafted with the prospective readers' objectives and objections in mind. So he's saying, for your email marketing to be effective, it needs to be all about the subscriber. And sometimes we think as marketers, as businesses, as entrepreneurs, we're thinking on our end of what our goal is instead of thinking about our reader and how our emails need to help them overcome their reach their objectives and help them overcome their objections. So I think this is a great insight from John and something to keep in mind with every single email you craft. Mustafa says, are these historical stats or based on responses during this class? Mustafa, these are responses from over 1,000 businesses that we collected a few months ago. No, they're not based on responses during this class. Don't worry. They are from over 1,000 businesses, and we gathered them, I think at the beginning of the year. Carol says, how can we read the potential readers' minds? Definitely use surveys and engage with your audience. Ask them questions. I recommend getting on the phone with your customers, with your subscribers, interacting with them in person or over the phone as much as you can to help understand them, but survey them, ask them questions, and ask them to respond in your emails. So next thing we looked at, and this is a really big one for many businesses, is what is the average open rate of your emails? And you don't have to share this in chat. If you want to share it in chat, you can. If you know offhand, what your average open rate is or what you're seeing right now, feel free to drop that in chat, but don't feel like you have to. And an open rate is what percentage of the people you sent the email to actually open your email. So we asked over 1,000 businesses this question: what is the average open rate of your emails? And here's what we found out. 25.7% of people have an open rate between 0 and 10%. 36% of people have an open rate between 11% and 25%. 28.6% of people, it's 26% to 50%. 7.1% of people is 51% to 75%. And then 2.4% of people said that their open rates are greater than 76%. Oh my goodness. If you have an open rate greater than 76%, you're doing really well. So that's unusual. But what I typically tell people to aim for as far as open rates, here's what you should aim for. Aim for getting an open rate of 20% or higher. If you're getting 30% or higher, and I see some people in chat saying 30% or higher, you're doing really well. That's great. And it definitely depends on the type of email you're sending. So a newsletter email, sending a regular newsletter, you might see on a newsletter somewhere between a 20 and a 50% open rate, and that's pretty normal for a newsletter. And on the low end, you might see a 10 to 20% open rate. But if for transactional emails, for segmented emails, for triggered emails, and for some email automation, you can see much higher open rates. For instance, welcome emails, which are the first emails that subscribers get after subscribing. A welcome email, I'll see open rates averaging 70%. And that's pretty normal for a welcome email. But again, a newsletter or a one-time email that you send regularly, it might be anywhere from 20 to 30% is a good open rate for those. So if you're under 20%, because I just said you want to aim for 20% or higher. If you're under 20%, here are some things you can do to increase your open rates. A few things you can do. One, optimize your subject lines. So a lot of people put a huge amount of emphasis on subject lines. Subject lines are important. They aren't the only thing that impacts your open rate though, but definitely test with different subject lines. I would recommend testing short subject lines versus long subject lines. I would recommend testing subject lines that are very descriptive versus subject lines that are vague, that make people curious. And one of the ways that you can really increase your open rates with your subject lines is having a subject line, is understanding your subscribers. If you can understand your subscribers really well and understand what their pain points are and what their interests are and what their biggest questions are, and then you can touch upon those big questions they have in the email subject line, you're going to have a much higher open rate. So if you're here today, you probably received the promotion email for this live class. And the promotion email, I believe the subject line was, are your open rates low? And I know for a lot of, I know the audience well enough to know that many people struggle with low open rates. And so that's why I used a subject line like that, because it's a pain point that many of us deal with. And it's just a very common pain point. So optimize your subject lines, optimize your preview text. The preview text, sometimes called pre-header text, appears to the right of your subject line. So in the inbox. So if you look at an inbox, you'll see your subject line in bold, and then you'll see unbolded text to the right of your subject line. And that's your preview or your pre-header text. And a lot of people don't optimize this, and they don't even set their preview or their pre-header text. So you can test with that. 3, build a strong relationship with your subscribers. Like I said, a lot of people focus on the subject line, but a big thing that impacts whether or not your subscriber opens an email is their past relationship with you. So if your mom sends you an email, you're likely to open it, right? In many cases, or someone very close to you. If they send you an email, you're very likely to open it. And that's because you have a relationship with them, and you know they're not going to send you something crap. They're going to send you something important. So think about that with your subscribers too. Build a good relationship with them, that when they see your sender name in the inbox, they know that this is going to be a great email and that they want to open it. So a big thing that impacts open rates is your relationship with the subscriber and the past relationship you've had with them. If you're spammy, if you do kind of like icky email practices, if you're too salesy, that can hurt your relationship. So just keep that in mind. And if you want to build a stronger relationship, send high quality, valuable content. So give people free content that's going to help them with their pain points, help them with the struggles that they're dealing with, help them reach their goals, and be interesting to them. And if you're a nonprofit, it might be something about how they can donate or how they can volunteer or ways that they can make an impact. So it doesn't have to be just if you're B2C or B2B. Oh, and then some people are asking about cleaning your list regularly and what that means. Cleaning your list is, there are going to be subscribers on your list who stop opening. They stop opening your emails, they stop clicking on your emails, and they're just not interested anymore. And they're on your list. And a lot of people think, well, that's okay. Maybe eventually they will open. I'll just leave them there. But the problem with that is if you don't clean your list regularly, those subscribers who never engage, they're actually hurting your chances of reaching the inbox. So ISPs like Gmail and Yahoo, they look and see how your subscribers on your list are interacting with your emails. And if subscribers are opening and clicking, Gmail and Yahoo and other ISPs decide, I'm going to send this email to the inbox because my subscriber, they want it. So having disengaged subscribers is a bad thing, and you want to get rid of them. And Carl just asked, how do you clean the list? And Carl just asked, how do you clean a list? And the way you clean a list is you pull a segment of your subscribers. You pull a segment of your subscribers who haven't opened an email in a period of time. So you can pull a list of subscribers who haven't opened an email in 6 months. You build a segment. You can call the segment disengaged subscribers, and you send them an email, and you say in the email, hey, do you still want to be subscribed to my email list? And if they don't click to say that they want to be subscribed, you remove them from the list. That's basically how you clean your list in a few sentences. Some people are saying, oh, Trina, thank you for sharing that article. How can I remove inactive subscribers from my list? Thanks, Trina. And some people are saying they're having sound issues. Can everyone, okay, other people can still hear. Okay, if you're having sound issues, it's most likely on your end. So I would try refreshing and seeing if that helps. So those are a few ways to increase your open rates. I'm going to take a look at questions now. Maria says, should I always exclude my non-openers from my regular newsletter? instead of excluding them, you can definitely exclude them, Maria. That's a way to handle that. Like if someone hasn't opened in 6 months, you can say, send this email to everyone but people who haven't opened in 6 months. You can do that, but I would actually just delete them from your list. I would send them a re-engagement campaign, and if they don't respond to that re-engagement campaign, I would delete them. Lisa says, aren't subscribers on your list valuable no matter what? Unfortunately not. So we do a lot of work to grow our lists. So this can feel painful. It can feel painful to remove subscribers from your list. But if someone is not engaging, not opening, not clicking, first off, they're not checking out your emails. And second off, they're hurting your email deliverability or your chances of reaching the inbox, because disengaged subscribers, they make you look bad to Gmail and to Yahoo, because it says to them, and to other ISPs, because it says to them, this person is sending emails that people don't want, because you have some disengaged subscribers on your list. So disengaged subscribers are bad. All right, so moving on. Next up, what is the average click-through rate of your emails? So how many people are clicking on the links in your emails? We asked people this question. We asked over 1,000 businesses this question. And 77% of small businesses average email click rates between 0 and 10%. So that's the average. 0 and 5% was 0 to 5% was the most common group, and that's 46% of people get click-through rates 0% to 5%. 30.5% get 6% to 10% click-through rates. 12.7% of people get 11% to 20% click-through rates, and then 8.4% have click-through rates of 21% to 50%, which is really high. And then there's 2.3% of people have click-through rates greater than 50%. And someone just said, please define a click-through rate. A click-through rate, it can be tracked 2 different ways. Or different email marketing platforms track click-through rates differently. Let me put it that way. So one way that click-through rate is tracked is, let's say you send your email to 100 people. One way that click-through rate is tracked is how many of those 100 people that you sent to clicked on the link in your email. So that's one way. So that would be the total send to the number of people who clicked. That's one way to track. The other way that you can track click-through rate is of the people who opened my email. So let's say you send to 100 people, 50 people open the email. Of those 50 who opened, how many clicked? So you can do the ratio of people who opened and then clicked, or the ratio of who you sent to and then who clicked. So those are the 2 different ways to track click-through rate. Dave says, can we see our average click-through rates in Aweber? Yes, you can see that. Aweber tracks of the total number of people you sent to, how many of them clicked. So that's how we track click-through rate. So a few ways to increase your CTR, which is your click-through rate. One is use one call to action. And this is using one call to action sounds really simplistic, but again and again, this is how you increase your click-through rates, is using one call to action. So if you ask people to take this action, or to take this action, or to take that action, sometimes your subscribers will get overwhelmed by all those options. So if you give them one call to action, your click-through rates are going to be higher. 2, tell your readers what you'd like them to know, or what you would like them to do. So the other thing is, if you don't tell your readers, I want you to click, or I want you to read this, or I want you to watch this, they're going to be less likely to do that. Again, this seems really simple, but I have seen that this works. Telling them what to do and being very specific about what you want them to do makes it easier for them to make a quick decision. Let them know the value of taking an action. So don't just say, do this, but explain to them what benefit are they going to get by reading your blog post, by buying your product, by watching the video you're sending to them. So let them know the value of taking action. Also, use short sentences and paragraphs and write copy that's easy to read. When you have an email with just a really long paragraph and really long sentences, people get overwhelmed very easily. So if you can use short sentences, short paragraphs, it's going to make it much easier for your subscribers to read your copy. So Maureen says 8 people click on this link. How do I find out who they are? I can definitely show you that. Janae says, can you give us an example? What would you like an example of, Janae? Marcia says, how many links are too many? Some people tell me only one per email, really, even for a newsletter. So Marcia, good question. So when I say use one to call to action, I'm saying use, promote, send people to one link. But there are, we send a newsletter every Thursday called Forward Thinking. And in Forward Thinking, we have like 4 or 5 different call to actions, 4 or 5 different links, because it's a digest newsletter. And our goal there isn't to send people to one blog post. Our goal is to give people all the information, or the most information we can give them, to help them be more successful with email marketing. So for us, giving them multiple different options to click on is a good thing, because one piece may align with their interest, whereas another doesn't. So it depends on your goal. If you really want to get people to take one action, use one to call to action. But if you have a newsletter with multiple call to actions, that's okay. So when I use one call to action, that's not like a rule that you should always follow. But if you're trying to get people to buy something, to view this one thing that's really important, don't include other call to actions in that email. So Bobby says, can you give an example of telling people specifically what you want them to do? Yes, let me pull up an example for you. Just give me 1 second to pull this up. And keep typing in your questions. Madison, that's a good question about graphics images, and we will get to that shortly. So don't worry. Okay, bear with me for 1 second, trying to find this example. All right, well, I'll pull it up later because I can't find it right this minute, but I'll find it by the end of so that we have it. So Ryan says, cleaning my list question. If I haven't cleaned my list in years and I decide to clean it now, will the ISPs that were putting me in the spam folder begin to reevaluate our domain and stop putting us in spam, i.e. increase my likely open rate? Yes. So it's always a good time to clean your email list. Even if you haven't cleaned it in years and you've neglected it, that's okay. It's still a best practice to clean that list. And if you have people, what I would recommend is, if you're having problems with email deliverability right now, send a couple emails that are really value packed and really helpful to your audience, so that you can start increasing your open rates and your click-through rates. And that is a good sign for ISPs. They like seeing that. Cool. So I'm going to keep moving, but I will get back to your questions, because here's another really important question that people ask me, and it's, how often do you send emails? So when is a good time to send emails? How often do you send emails? If you can drop how often you send emails into the chat window, so we can compare results. But we asked over 1,000 businesses this question, and here's what they said. 15.1% of people are sending daily. 39.4% of people are sending at least once per week, but less than daily. 31.4% of people are sending at least once per month, but less than weekly. And then 14.2% of people are sending less than once per month. So what we found was that 86% of small businesses send emails at least once per month. 54% send emails at least once a week. And my recommendation on this is, at the very least, send emails once a month. That is the bare minimum. But if you can do once a week, that's even better. Or if you can do, some people send emails every day. And I would recommend when you're choosing your email frequency to think about a few different factors. And I'm going to walk you through those. But first off, Ramit Sethi, he is a phenomenal email marketer. And we asked him, what do you think about these results? How often should people send emails? And here's what he said. He said, frequency isn't the primary issue. Writing amazing emails that provide value is. If your emails are incredibly entertaining, informative, and engaging, you can send as many emails as you want. Our best customers want us to send more emails, even twice a day. Yes, you should watch your open rates and unsubscribe rates closely, but some of this won't show up in the metrics. You just know it when you see it. I agree with this so much. And this is exactly what I recommend. If you're sending great emails, nobody cares how often you're sending them. If your audience loves your content, they're not going to come to you and be like, hey, can you send me less of those things that I love? That's not going to happen. And Ramit sends amazing emails, and I've been on his list for years, and he sends multiple emails a day sometimes. He sends emails really frequently, and I love all of his emails. And it's because he sends really valuable emails. One of his areas of expertise is helping people further their career, helping them grow personally and professionally. And I really value his emails because he sells courses. So he sells courses that might be a couple $1,000s. And those will help you in these areas. But he also gives away a ton of free educational content about furthering your career, about developing personally and professionally. And so I stay on his email list because those emails are so valuable, and I learn so much without ever paying $1. And there's actually another influencer who does the same thing. And I've been on their list for years, and I recently just bought something, even though I've been on their list for years and kind of just been enjoying their educational content. But when it came time for me to take an action and to buy, of course I was going to buy from them because I know how smart they are, how much value they provide. So building a relationship like this with your subscribers, where you're giving them value, where they want your emails, is wonderful. And you may not see all of your subscribers buy right away, but you may have someone who's been opening for 2 years and then they decide to buy. LB says, I worry about giving so much free content that no one feels they have to buy anything. So that's a great point, LB. And the way I usually position this, if you're creating courses, for instance, if you're creating, Douglas says, who was it? It was Joanna Wiebe, Copy Hackers. If you ever heard of her, she's if you want to learn how to write great emails, check out Joanna Wiebe. But LB, so one of the things that you can do if you sell courses is you can actually share small concepts from your course for free. And then people are going to be very interested in your course and in taking it when you say, hey, like, I develop on this more in my course. So what I recommend when giving away free content is you're never going to give away content that is as comprehensive or as valuable as your course. A little piece of education is never going to be as valuable as a comprehensive course that you offer. So you can give that value away, and it's okay. And you can build that relationship with your subscribers because the things you're selling are so much higher value. So how to choose the right frequency? Send as often as you can create quality emails. So what I say, it's really great to send frequently, but if you can't send good, valuable emails every day, don't send every day. Choose a frequency that matches your business resources. So if you can only send a really good email once a month, that's okay. But if you have the resources and the time to send a phenomenal email once a week or every day, do it. So choose a frequency where you can send as often as you can create quality emails, and one that works with the resources you have, the employees you have, the time you have. But definitely send regularly. Make sure to send at least once a month. If you send less than once a month, people become unaccustomed to hearing from you. They become less likely to open your emails, less likely to engage, more likely to forget who you are. And set expectations and stick with them. This can help. So You can tell people how often you send and when you send, when they sign up, and right after when they sign up to your email list. So Ann Hanley, who has a newsletter called Total Anarchy, she tells people right on the sign up form and right in her welcome email, I send an email newsletter every other Sunday. You can expect it from me. It'll be on that day. And that's great because it can actually improve your open rates because people are expecting the email. They know when to get it. And it also holds you accountable. So if you agree to send an email on a certain day and you tell all of your subscribers that, it kind of holds your feet to the fire and makes you stay honest and send that email on those days. So the next question we asked people was, how many email subscribers do you have? We asked over 1,000 businesses this, and here's what we found out. 42.6% of people have 0 to 500 subscribers. 12.9% have 501 to 1,000. 30.6% have 1,001 to 10,000. And the remaining about 12%, they have 50,001 or higher. So most small businesses have somewhere between zero and 1,000 subscribers, or 0 and 10,000 subscribers. So that is the average. Ben says he has 3,127. That's very specific, Ben. Anna says 1,000. Jason says Pat Flynn also provides really valuable emails. That's true. And Dave, I like that. Give away the what, but not the how. That's interesting. I have to think through that. Okay, so we also looked at how your list size impacts your email marketing strategy. And we found that 42% of small businesses with over 500 subscribers have effective or very effective email marketing strategies. But only 20% of small businesses with 500 or less subscribers have effective or very effective email marketing strategies. So we did find that list size impacts how effective your email marketing strategy is. So try to grow your list, of course. And here are a few ways to grow your list. Use lead magnets or freebies on your sign-up forms and landing pages, and these just give people a reason to subscribe. You can partner with other companies. So you can say, hey, if you promote my sign-up form, my lead magnet, my landing page, I'll promote yours in exchange. And you can partner with other companies who have a similar audience. Test out paid ads. A lot of people use Facebook ads for list growth, so you can try those out. And promote your sign-up form on your site. So on your homepage and all over your blog as well. So you want to make sure you're promoting that sign-up form, that landing page, everywhere you can on your social media channels. And you can also do things like guest blog posting, and then you link off to your landing page or sign-up forms. There are a ton of different ways to grow your list. Now, I'll tell you, growing your list takes some work unless you have massive website traffic. Massive regular website traffic. It does take some work to grow your list, and it takes time. So be patient, put the effort in to grow. And the nice thing is, as you start growing, that'll scale really quickly. So we then asked people, how effective is your email copy? Email copy is really important. Here's what we found. So most people, 50% of people say it's effective. 50% say effective. 13.9% of people say very effective. And then around 20% of people said ineffective or very ineffective. And then 14.5% of people were not sure. So that's how people feel about their email copy. And Val Geisler had a great quote to share about how to write better email copy. And this is exactly what I believe and what I tell people to do to improve their email copy. And it's get to know your customers. Do interviews, learn more about them. What keeps them up at night? What matters most to them? Ask them questions with long form answers and record those answers. Then use that voice of customer copy in your emails. So you can take exactly what your customers and your subscribers say and put it in your emails. And it's going to resonate well with them, because often we think we understand our audience, but we don't understand them as well as we think we do. And so using voice of customer copy can really improve your click-through rates and your engagement. And put in subject lines and body copy and CTA buttons. Put it in subject lines and body copy and CTA buttons. Fill your emails with a blend of their voice and your brand voice, and your customers will instantly feel connected to your brand. And Anne Handley said something very brilliant. She said, write to one person, not a segment or customer base or persona, one person at one time. And I think the tendency, and I mentioned this earlier, when we're writing emails and sending emails, is to think about us as we're writing them instead of thinking about our subscriber. And what Anne recommends you do is you actually write your emails to a friend. So you pick a friend you have who might be in your target audience, and you write your email as if you're writing to them. And it's going to make your email content much more personal and much more effective. So does effective email copy increase open and click-through rates? 61% of small businesses with effective or very effective email copy have click-through rates of 6% or higher. 45% of small businesses with effective or very effective email copy have average open rates of 26% or higher. So a 26% open rate is really solid, and a 6% click-through rate, again, is really solid too. So yes, we found a correlation between good email copy and getting high engagement. So your email copy is important. After looking at email copy, we looked into email design. So we asked people, how effective is your email design? And of the over 1,000 small businesses we asked, here were the results we got. 49.6% said effective, 11.8% said very effective, 17.8% said ineffective, 3.3% said very ineffective, and 17.6% were not sure. So one of the things we found was that 60% of small businesses with effective or very effective email design have average click-through rates of 6% or higher. So again, we found a correlation between good email design and results and getting engagement. And also, thank you all for being so engaged in the comments section here. There are some just great comments in here. So then simple ways to design better emails. Use your brand colors, but don't overdo it. So I see a lot of emails that either have no color at all, or they look like a clown car maybe, where it is so many different bright colors. And you want to incorporate your brand colors, but in subtle ways. So don't overdo it. Include your logo in every email, either at the bottom of the email, or the top of the email, and use padding and white space. Here's an example. So here's our forward-thinking newsletter that we send every week. So one, you can see that we have our logo here at the top. We put it at the top of every email. It's not huge, but it's always there. Two, you can see this blue button where we incorporate brand colors, but you can also see that the email is not bright blue. We use a white background here because we don't want it to be too much. Too much color can be kind of overwhelming to the eye. And then the other thing we do is we use a lot of white space. So we have padding in between our content here. We use really short paragraphs and short sentences. And you can see we have all this white space around our content, which makes it much easier for your subscriber to read the email. The next question we asked people was, do you send HTML or plain text emails? And just to clarify, this is an HTML email right here. This is from Skinny Taste. She's a food blogger. An HTML email has any kind of styling. So let's look at what makes this an HTML email. One, there's a logo in it. If there is any kind of image in an email, it is an HTML email. Two, there's hyperlinked text right here. The spaghetti carbonara is hyperlinked. Any kind of hyperlinked text means it's an HTML email. We have italicized text right here. That means it's an HTML email. We have a big image here. That again means it's an HTML email. These are all ways that the email is styled. We then have bolded text here. Again, that's a visual style, so it's an HTML email. So an HTML email is an email that has any kind of HTML styling. That could be bolded text, italicized text, hyperlinked words, images. So basically all emails are HTML emails. Here, on the other hand, is a plain text email. This is the plain text version of this email. Plain text, HTML, plain text. And so you can see that the links are just pasted in here as full links because you can't hyperlink text. There's no stylization of words here. There's no images. You can see that there's no visual hierarchy. You can't use headlines in a plain text email. You can't use bolded text. You can't use hyperlink text. You can't use italics. So this is a plain text email. And a lot of people think they're sending plain text emails, but most people are sending HTML emails. And that is consistent with what we found. We found that 49.2% of businesses are sending HTML emails. 16.1% said that they're sending plain text. And then 26.4% said they're sending a mix of HTML and plain text emails. So only 16% of small businesses send plain text emails alone. That's actually higher than I expected it to be, because most people are sending HTML emails. And so one of the questions that goes along with this that someone asked earlier is, do you use images in your emails? Should you use images in your emails? And that's a good question. So if you ever use an image in your email, it is an HTML email. And but should you use images in your emails? What we found was that 86% of small businesses use images in their emails sometimes or always. So that is a majority of people. And 88% of small businesses with effective or very effective email marketing strategies use images in their email sometimes or always. And then we found 57% of small businesses who always include images in their emails get average click-through rates of 6% or higher. So we did see a correlation between using images and being effective. So here's what I say about images, though. Use images if they enhance your message. So if they add to your message, use them. So if we go back to this example here of Skinny Taste, which email is better? Would you say? Which email do you prefer here? This one or this one? If you are, getting an email from a food blogger about how to make a recipe, do you prefer this email or this email? Because this email for a food blogger looks so much better because a food blogger has highly visual content to show off. Look at this delicious looking food. If you're a food blogger and you have something beautiful like this to show off, then please do it. This email is so much more attractive and so much more likely to get people to engage because it's adding so much to the email. If you just have the word spaghetti carbonara in your email, that doesn't visually represent what that looks like. So what I recommend is if you have imagery that adds to your message like this, definitely use images. Now, if you're a marketer and often, if you're an online business who's a marketing consultant, often it's not a very visual industry. We don't have a ton of images that are going to help us explain like how to write content. If you're writing an email about how to write email content, there's not a lot of great images you can use there. But if you're in a visual industry like this one, definitely use images. So we asked Chad White. He's the head of research at Oracle, CX Marketing Consulting, and the author of Email Marketing Rules. He's an email marketing expert. Love this guy. He says the old adage that a picture is worth 1,000 words is more true than ever in the age of Instagram. That's why nearly all promotional emails from both B2C and B2B brands are HTML emails with images. Visual communication is essential to selling physical products. Most services and anything lifestyle oriented, plain text emails are best for simple messages like password reset emails and for urgent quick messages like alerts. So he's talking about plain text versus HTML. But when it comes to using images, please use an image if it's going to add to your message. But don't just stuff images into your emails for the sake of having imagery. I see people doing this as well, and they might have an image in their email that is not at all relevant. So don't do that. But make sure to use images where appropriate. Because like I said, this email is much prettier than the plain text version of it. Okay, so that is the end of the educational presentation part of this. So I would love to jump into Q&A, but if you are interested in If you're not an AWeber customer and you're interested in trying out AWeber and you've been wondering why is AWeber so great, you can get a 30-day free trial. I just put the offer up. So check out that free trial. It's completely free. And you also get customer solutions with that. And then also, let's just jump into questions, because I know I've seen a lot of people commenting in chat, and I know I've missed some questions. So let's just jump into questions now. Kathy says, how much is a subscription? Kathy, it starts at $19 a month if you have 500 or less subscribers. Let's see. Donna says, question, how can I add video to my newsletter? Good question, Donna. So most of the time, video can't play an email just because of the limitation that email has. But what I recommend doing is having a still frame from your video with a play button over it. So it's a still frame with a play button over it with the video hyperlinked behind that image. And so when people click on that image, they're going to go right to the video. The play button lets them know that this is a video. So that's what I recommend doing. But most ISPs don't support playing video in an email. So that's the workaround for that. So Tanya says, AWeber sends every email to 100% of our subscribers, or is it similar to social networks that only send posts to 4% of followers? So it's not like social networks. It's not an algorithm. When you send to a list of 1,000 people, that email is sent out to them. But what happens is sometimes those emails bounce, and usually the majority of emails get delivered depending on your email reputation or depending on your reputation. But it really depends if the ISP is going to accept that email, whether they deliver it to the subscriber or whether they send it to the spam folder or the promotions tab. But it's not at all like social media where there's an algorithm where only a small percentage of your audience sees your message. With email marketing, when you send to 1,000 people, that email gets put in a queue to send, and then it just depends whether the email actually gets delivered. So Matea says, and sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, I have tested subscribers which tested at my form in a website. Are they still counting as subscribers? I'm completely new to email marketing. So if you have people who joined your list after testing your form, they would be counting as subscribers on your email list. So if you have people testing your form, you might want to unsubscribe them or delete them if you don't want them counting as email subscribers. So Barry says, and I'm trying to just read this message, long copy emails or keep it concise and short copy emails. So a lot of people ask me about long versus short emails, and we actually did some research about this last year to find what the average, I'm looking it up right now, to find out what how long emails are on average. But what I recommend on email length, and what I say about email length, is it's not so much about how long your email is or how short your email is. It's about how effective your copy is. If you, and it's about getting your message across. So if you can get your message across and you're more effective with short emails, then go for short emails. But if you need a longer email to convey your message and to convince someone to take action, write a longer email. So there's not a simple answer to this. Better copy is what performs better, not longer emails or shorter emails, but better copy. And I found the report. This is our statistics report from last year. It's still really relevant, and we talk about email length in that report. So Amy says, is there a way to resend an opt-in email if it goes unopened? Oh, do you mean a confirmation email, Amy? Just let me know. Just make sure I'm answering the right question. Karen says, are open rates impacted by emails read on devices with auto load images turned off? This is a great question. So are open rates impacted by emails read on devices with auto load images turned off? Yes. So the way that all email marketing platforms track open rate is there's a tiny image inside every email. And when that image loads, we track it as an open. And other email marketing platforms do the same because Gmail and Yahoo don't tell us how many people open emails. So the way we track them is when that image is loaded. So if someone has set their inbox preferences so that images don't automatically load, or that so images don't appear, then that person could be opening your email, but it won't track as an open. So that's a great question and something to be aware of. Carl says, what is the best way to ensure deliverability? Send quality emails, make sure that people are opening and clicking on your emails, remove disengaged subscribers, and clean your list. So Sandra says, what is Aweber doing to try and stay compatible with different new digital offers? Do you have like a specific example, Sandra? Because I'm not quite sure what you're asking, but I'd be happy to answer. I publish a magazine. This is from Ralph. Should I preview the main articles on the email with a link to each article? Yes, that's what I would recommend. I would tease the content in your email and then link off to the magazine. Jackie says, I have 8,800 subscribers, but only 1,500 open every week. I have multiple lists that they might have opted into to get various lead magnets from me. How do I know who's duplicated because I'm paying for them? Great question, Jackie. So the best, one of the things is I recommend having one list. So instead of having multiple lists, I would recommend turning everyone into one list, because what that'll do is, let's say I was subscribed to 4 of your different email lists. So Liz is subscribed to 4 different email lists. Then I'm getting billed as 4 subscribers, right? But if you put everybody on one email list and then you use tags to segment them, then I would only be on the one email list and be getting billed as 1 subscriber. So the way that you can set that up and import to change over to one list is to export all of your extra lists and to import those lists into your main list, and use tags instead of lists. And then you can have that single list, if that makes sense. So Trina says, how do you add everyone into your email list from, sorry, I lost the question. How do you add everyone into one email list and tag them to segment? Let me pull up an article that will explain how to do that. And I'll post it in chat. So this is an article about how to tag a subscriber in my import, and this will show you how to do that. So Lisa says, question regarding opt-in emails. So regarding confirmation emails, is there a way to personalize this with your own voice? If not, is there a reason Aweber doesn't have this feature available? I find getting people to confirm is difficult because I've only seen a couple options Aweber allows to send one. Great question, Lisa. So if you look inside Aweber and you look at opt-in emails, also called confirmation emails, they're the email that goes out to people. If you have if you have confirmed opt-in set on, or double confirmation turned on, that means that when someone subscribes, they immediately get an email that says, please confirm your subscription. And double opt-in is great because it increases your email deliverability and your chances of reaching the inbox. So there's huge benefits to using double opt-in. But Lisa's question is, can we customize the email however we want? And the Aweber does limit your ability to, let me show you what you can do with Aweber so that everyone can get a sense for this. Aweber does limit some of the options you have for customizing your confirmation email. And there's a reason we do that. It's because spammers will take confirmation emails and they'll trick their subscribers into confirming to something that they don't understand that they're confirming to. So they'll totally change the content around and make it like basically do illegal things. And we can't let that happen. So that's why we have some limitations on confirmed opt-in emails, because we want to make sure that spammers aren't using the platform. Now, it does give you some limitations, but I'm going to show you how some of the ways you can customize your confirmation message. And let me know if that makes sense. That's the reason we do it, is to prevent spammers from doing unethical things. If you've ever gotten spam email yourself, you know how frustrating it is. So one of the things that we do at Aweber that's really important to us is to make sure that spammers aren't using the platform. So here's the confirmation email, and you can choose your language. So if you, I think we have over 13 different languages you can choose from. So you have the option to choose your language. But then we do have this, you can edit the message content. So you can add content here. Let's see, you could say something like, something like that. Then you can preview. But we do have this, and you can change your button text, confirm my request, confirm my email, but we don't let you choose whatever button text you want, again, because we don't want spammers using the platform. You can also change your signature as well. So it could be whatever you would like it to be. So you do have those kind of options. Does that help? Does that help explain it a bit more? Evo says, and in German, the text is wrong. That's good to know, Evo. I don't know, because I don't read German, and we had German speaking people write the confirmation email. And how to have in-mail links. If I make a list of 4 topics. Okay. Let me get to your question, Dr. Christina. So let me go to drafts. So Lisa says it also won't allow me to opt out of the confirmation email either then. So if you just don't opt in, then if you don't click that button, then you won't get emails from them, if that makes sense. So as far as the in-link, within email links, let me show you how to do that. Is it frozen for people? Lisa's saying that it's frozen. Is it frozen for everyone else? Oh, also, if some people are leaving, please check out the survey in the resources. Okay, it's not frozen. Eduardo, great question. Eduardo says, when you send a broadcast, those emails are sent right away. I've read it's bad for email reputation to send 1,000 at once, and that it's best to send 100, then 300, then 600, and so on. Yeah, so we use email deliverability best practices here, Eduardo. We have like a whole email deliverability team who make sure that we're doing the best things possible to make sure your email reaches the inbox. So depending on your list size, some emails are sent completely instantaneously. All of your emails may be sent instantaneously, or there might be a slight delay. All right, I'm just, okay, so email links. Let me talk about, Dr. Christina asks how to have in-mail links. If I make a list of 4 topics, I want them to be able to click to their interest in newsletters. So I think this is going to answer your question, but let me know if it doesn't. So let's say I take this email here. Right now it's an email about avocado black bean brownies. But let's say I wanted to ask my subscribers a question in this email. So let's say the question was, what are your favorite type of brownies? Okay. So what are your favorite type of brownies? And down here, I'm sorry, there's a slight delay on my end because I'm running a lot of different things from my computer right now, including this webinar. So what are your favorite type of brownies? And then I wanted to ask people, give people options they can choose from. So let's say chocolate brownies, blondies, cream cheese brownies, or peanut butter brownies. So you want to give your subscribers these options to choose from. Now, what you can do is you would get 4 different links, or you would get the same link. So let me choose a link. I'll choose, let's see. I'll use this link here as our example. So I'm going to delete this button because I don't want it. But I need to put a link behind all of these to give people these options. And I'm also going to bullet this list because it's easier to read. So let's say I wanted to ask people this question and then tag people based off of how they answer. So what I can do is add my link. And I can add the same, I could use different links every time. So let's say someone clicked on cheesecake brownies. I could take them to a recipe about cheesecake brownies and use that link. Or I could use the same link and customize it based off their answer. So I can take this link here, add a question mark, and then add chocolate. And then I can take that with my blondies, add the same link, add question mark, blondies. Take this third one, use the same link again, add question mark cream cheese. Take this last one, take this last one, same link, question mark peanut butter. Now I have links behind all of these different options that they can choose from. And I actually want to use numbers instead of bullets. So I'm going to switch over to numbers here. Now I can tag people based off their answer. So what I'll do is I'll save and exit out of this email. And now let's say I wanted to go send the email. I would schedule my broadcast. And then under this question, do you want tag automations? I'd hit edit. And then I'd go down to my 4 links. So you can see my 4 links here. It's all the same link with question mark and then the keyword at the end of it. So chocolate, blondies, cream cheese, peanut butter. I would just add these tags: chocolate, blondies, cream cheese, peanut butter. Now, if anyone clicks on those links in the email, they're going to get tagged based off the link that they clicked on. Does that make sense? I hope that helped. I'm seeing a lot of chats. Oh, so some people are asking, do we have a Facebook group? Yes, we do. Let me pull that up for you. We have a customer Facebook group, which you can check out. And everyone can interact with each other and ask questions. It's a really great group. Here it is, Aweber customer community. I'm dropping it into chat so you can all join. Yes, there will be a replay of this. So Jackie says you had a question mark when you posted the link. Yes. So if you add a question mark to the end of a link, then you can put a piece of text on the right side of that question mark and use that piece of text as like your internal reference. So it won't affect the link. The link will still go to the place you were linking off to. But that's a way that you could differentiate the same link, if that makes sense. What happens after they are tagged? So Sandy, you can apply these tags to people, and then you can send automated emails to people. You can send one-time emails to people based on the tags that they have. And then another thing is, before everyone, I'm going to pull up the survey because I know we're 10 minutes after the hour. So if you have to leave, I would still love you if you could take the survey. So I'm pulling that up. Just let me know what you think about the class. Oh, I see, Dr. Christina. Your question is, you want them to be able to click on one of these options and then have them scroll down in that one newsletter. So it's like an anchor text. So you want them to be able to click on, if you have a really long email, for instance, you want them to be able to click on what are the best foods to feed your cat. And then when they click on that, it'll scroll down in the email to the place that you want them to read. Is that what you're saying? Chris, yes, there will be a replay. I see. I don't know of a way to do that, Dr. Christina. I can look into it for you, but I don't think there's a way to do that that I'm aware of. I've never seen anyone do that in an email. You can do it in a blog post. Elise is an HTML that's done through targets and named anchors. So, Lee, do you know if you can do that within an email though? Because you can do it in a blog post, you can do it on a web page, but can you do it within an email? I'm not aware of it, Dr. Christina. So is the survey working for people? Some people are saying the survey is not working. Let me check it out. Oh yeah, it's not working for me. Let me pull it up for you guys. I apologize that it's not working. I don't know why it's not working. So let me just pull that link up. I have it right here. Okay. Here is a survey link. I'm dropping it in the chat. That should work. Let me know if that doesn't work. And if I missed your questions, I do apologize. It's hard to manage all of the questions at once. Yeah, check out that link. That link works. I just dropped it in the chat. Good. And sorry, the button doesn't link or doesn't work. I don't know why it's not working. Sometimes these things go haywire. Okay, so I'm looking through questions. Eduardo says, Facebook AWeber community page has an active group chat or just posts commenting. So it's pretty active in there, Eduardo. I don't know if this answers your question, but it's pretty active. There are a lot of people posting and interacting with each other. But I think it's just people commenting on each other's posts. I don't know if there's a chat functionality within there. Joy says, can we do a survey where the recipient can write an answer? Yes, you can do that within an email with AMP for email. So you can have a survey within an email. It does take some coding knowledge. The other thing that you can do is just link off to a survey. That's the easier thing to do if you don't know how to code. So Eduardo says, how can I know if my email is in blacklist of Gmail, Hotmail, etc.? So one of the things, there are tools that can help you do that. If you Google it, I don't recall off the top of my head what those tools are, but if you Google it, you can find out. But one of the things you can look at, Eduardo, is if your email list is having problems, look at bounce rate. If the bounce rate is high, that's when you probably have not a good email list. So Jackie says, is it better to use a button than a link for most clicks? So we actually, Jackie, great question. We actually asked people this in the report that we did. And most people use a combination of buttons and links. So they use both. So for instance, if they, no, don't send that. Cancel, blah, blah, blah. So for instance, if they're sending an email like this and they're promoting a recipe, let's say, they use both hyperlink text and buttons. And that's what we do here at AWeber as well. So what they might do is if they're promoting this brownie recipe, they might have a button that they use. Let me see. So they might have this button here. And then they might also have content that says, like if they're promoting a peanut butter brownie recipe, read my new peanut butter brownie recipe. And then they'll link off to this content here. So they'll add a link right here and hyperlink the text. And then they'll also use the button. So they'll have the button that says, read the recipe or whatever. And so they use both hyperlink text and the button. And we find that that's really effective. So I would try that. Ephraim says, am I only allowed to add 10 people per day manually? Yes, if you're adding people manually one by one, I think it's 10 a day. Brenda says, I have people not confirming. Can I resend the confirmation email? How do I delete them if they don't confirm? Ephraim, I'm curious, why are you adding people manually? Why not just import them or copy and paste them? So I'm just curious why you're, because that method takes a long time. So I'm just curious. So Brenda says, I have people not confirming. Can I resend the confirmation email? How do I delete them if they don't confirm? So unfortunately, you can't resend the confirmation email. Let me pull up a knowledge base article about confirmation emails for you to give you some more information. Mustafa says, hi, Liz, so here's an article. So first, let me answer that first question. Can I resend the confirmation message? This article explains the answer to that and also provides some other information that can help. Mustafa, do HTML emails usually get redirected to the spam folder? No. So I actually asked an email deliverability expert about this, and they said no, they don't get redirected to the spam folder based on the fact that they're HTML. So that's actually a big rumor, an inaccurate rumor, that if your email is HTML, it's more likely to go to the spam folder. That's not true. What sends an email to the spam folder is your sender reputation, the health of your email list, and whether you're linking off to blacklisted or to bad sites within your email. So if you're linking off to spammy sites, that's when your email might be more likely to go to spam. Sue Brown, good question. So let me see. Let me see if I can walk you through that. So here's an article that'll walk you through this. Okay, so here's how it works. Subscribers in a confirmation pending status cannot be manually deleted. They will be automatically deleted after remaining unconfirmed for 30 days. So we delete them for you. Here's that article that explains it. So Ephraim says, when I try importing a list, it gets rejected. Okay, so that's usually because there's some issue with the list and list health. I'm not on our imports team, so I can't really comment on that. But that's if your list is getting rejected, there's some issue with the list. Karen says, what are your thoughts about resending emails to unopens? That's a great thing to do. So if Jackie, I shared an article on deleting people that never opt in, so you can see it right above. And what are your thoughts about resending same email to people who don't open? We do that all the time. So you can wait 48 hours and send the same email with a different subject line to people who didn't open the first email. Okay, so we're getting close to time here. I'll take one more question. I'm going to scroll up and see if I can find a question that I missed. Trina says, can you clarify putting call to action links in the subject line? So you can't put links in the subject line. So if I said that, I misspoke. So you can't put call to action links in the subject line. Timothy says, how do we set it up so that someone can unsubscribe from only one of our tags but still receive emails from the other tags? So what I recommend doing to do that is to put in your email a line that says, don't want to receive these emails about X anymore. Click here to unsubscribe. Click here to mute these emails. And then when someone clicks on that link, use click automations to remove a tag from them. So let's say you send a Monday newsletter. You can say, hey, don't want to receive my Monday newsletter anymore. Click here to mute these emails. And then when someone clicks on that, you remove the tag Monday newsletter. So that way they no longer get that newsletter. Okay, so unfortunately we are at time. Thank you all for being here and for being so phenomenal and sharing all of your comments in the chat window. It's been wonderful talking with you. I wish I could stay longer, but we're at time. If you could let me know what you thought in the survey that I just posted, let me know what was good, what we could do better. And feel free to email me if you have any questions. You can get in touch with me at lizw@aweber.com. All right. Thank you all. Thanks for being here and have a great rest of your day.